Hi guys, it's Deborah. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I wanted to play with my new mixed media stencil that I bought a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't used it yet. It's actually Deco Art stencil. It's called Andy, and I just thought that it was pretty cool. $8.90 it cost at my local scrapbooking store. But I liked the images on it, so that's why I bought it. So let's open it up and see what I can do with it. It's got this really cool guy on it, some numbers, the clock. I liked it because it had the quarters and the halves and the 13, and then I was going to buy an alphabet one, but I figured I've got a lot of alphabet stamps, and so I bought this one, and I like the ruler as well. And so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm just going to be playing on a tag and decorating this tag and just see what I can come up with. Really, it's, you know, no plan as usual. I've got a palette knife here, and I've also got some Impasto medium. So this stuff is, I guess, like a thick sort of gel stuff, and it creates texture. There's lots of different things that you can get like this, but I just happen to have this one on hand. So I just sort of thought I'd open it up and have a go with it. So if you get the stuff on the back of the palette knife like that, and then you run it through, so holding the stencil down, you then run it across whatever it is that you want. So let's go with the 13 for a start, and let's just run that through. So you make sure that got your number there covered in the medium, and then you lift that off, and what that leaves is, you can see, is like a dimensional impression of the number 13. Let's grab a tissue and just clean it off so that you don't get mess everywhere else. And the other thing I wanted to do was, I thought that I could just run this ruler down the side of this tag. So you can always put this back into your jar once you've gotten everything that you want off it. If you get too much, it doesn't really matter. Kind of a bit like plastering, isn't it? Just, well, if you've ever filled a patch in a wall, you probably feel like you're doing the same thing. That's what it seems like to me. And scrape it, but try to be generous, because if you're not, you might not end up with any sort of medium on your actual tag or whatever it is you're decorating. And then just gently lift it off. You can see I have a bit of a mess there, but if I just get my tissue, I can just take that off. I could leave it there, it wouldn't matter really. If that's the look you're going for, which, you know, messy works for me. And then just clean that off. And you probably can wipe that down with a baby wipe, or actually give it a wash, which I'll do after. I haven't got any baby wipes at the moment. I'll have to go down and get some. Maybe tomorrow I'll grab some of those. And that's all you really need to do. Now you've got to let it dry. So you could dry it with the heat tool, which I might go and do, and or you can dry it, let it air dry, but it's quite thick and it's going to take a while, so I might just pop over and dry it with the heat tool. Okay, I've dried that off with the heat tool, so it might be a little bit sticky still, but you know, I'm impatient, so now I just want to play with it. And what I wanted to do now was play with these little inks. So these are the Distress Ink minis. I've got them in 5 different colours. So I've got mustard seed, mowed lawn, peacock feathers, picked raspberry, and ground espresso. And I thought I might have a go and see what I can do with this. What I wanted to do was put some on the mat. Now this is just the Ranger craft sheet. I know I always call it a mat, but it's actually a craft sheet. Technically it's a craft sheet, And I'm just going to put a little bit of colour down and see what I can do. So I've got a sprayer here. This is just a sprayer. You pick them up from the cheap shops. You can buy them or you can get them from the art shops. And of course I'm using distress ink, so it reacts with water. So by putting some water on there, I'm now able to lay my card down and let's see what happens. It's going a bit muddy, so I'm going to stick up this end because that brown is making it go quite muddy. I want a bit more green in. I'm not sure I put enough water down when I enough ink down before I sprayed it. Oh yes, that's better. So if I drag some of that water over here. So I'm getting a bit of a background on there, and I'm just going to spray the green on here to get it a bit more green. It's all about the experiment. What you can see is that raised area is becoming quite obvious now. And if you just, I'll finish wetting the card, just get it nice and damp, and then I'm just going to grab a tissue. You can see it's curled, but it'll come flat again, so don't worry about that. It's still a bit wet up there, that texture paste, so I'm just going to dab that off and dab off the number, around the number 13 as well, so I get a nice thing. So that's not too bad. It's a bit, you know, it's an experiment, so it's only a bit of ink and a manila tag or a shipping tag, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to dry that one off now. So I bought these sponge applicators, ink blending tools. They're Ranger, and they come in a 2-pack like this, and I'm not sure, I got them online, so I don't know how much they were. And they come with 2 of the applicators and 4 of the pads. So this here has got Velcro, and if you put that down, you just put that on there and it'll pop up. I wasn't going to buy any more blending tools because I've got a couple of them now, but you know, the reason I did it was because I saw Tim Holtz and he had these little mini inks, and in the bottom of them he was putting his daubers, so or his sponge pads, daubers, sorry. And so I thought, wow, that's a great idea, because then you can just go like that and get your ink onto the sponge applicator, and then you can just ink this, and then when you don't want that anymore and you want to put that back in, just go to the bottom and off it. Well, okay, so you do it like that. I can't remember how he did it now, but there you go. And then you always have the colour of the applicator will always be sitting in the bottom of your ink, which I thought was really cool, and that's why I went and got them. So I'm just doing some inking now. Put a bit of that down here as well. Spread it around a bit. Love this colour. It's a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know how long that's going to actually last, because it's not really stuck on, it's just stapled on. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Stick that back in, and it actually won't come out. It doesn't matter how much you know, shake these. That little spongy thing isn't going to come out. I think we definitely need some pink. So that's just too cool for school. Too cool for school. Get some pink going around there. More pink down in the bottom. It's good to have that balance of having it on different sides of the thing. And I bought a 20 pack of refill sponges as well. So it came with 4, but I wasn't sure how many I was going to need, so you never know. I think my collection of minis will grow. I think these cost like $4.50 for each mini, which is I think a pretty good cost-wise, because the larger ones, the other day I paid $10.50 for the larger, although they do hold a lot more ink. So the larger one is 3 inches by 3 inches, and these are 1 inch by 1 inch. So obviously you get a lot more ink in the larger one. But I thought these minis were just too cute. So I've got some sponging on there. Let's just see what else I want to do. Might do a little bit of, oh, I've got that in the wrong way. So the black side is the side that's got the Velcro in it, so make sure when you put them back that you put it with the black side up, because that's the one that's got the Velcro. And the white side is your sponge tip side. A bit more of the mowed lawn around here. Okay, stick that back in there. And let's find something else to put on this tag. So I'm just going to go and grab some more supplies. So I've got some more of my supplies here. I've got the Tim Holtz small talk words. So they're just little stickers. I've got one of the chipboard words here, and something from the ephemera pack of Tim Holtz ephemera pack as well. And I'm just going to have a look through my paper dolls. Thought maybe a paper doll might look cute on here. Maybe something a bit bigger than that. And that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yes, I like him. Yeah, I like that dimension that's giving. And I've got my little guy here. Where's my glue? Here. As usual, there's a mess on my table, but never mind. It's working all right for me. Make sure you get the glue down the extremities when you've got these little thin pieces, because it'll stop it pulling up and bending the arms and the legs. So I think glue is probably the best way to go here for that sort of this sort of thing. Of course, you know, don't get glue all over him, which is what I've managed to do. Never mind. You could actually use a binding medium as well. I will get that out and just show you what I mean by that. So this is a binding medium. It's just, you buy it from places like in Australia, like Riot and other sort of art shops as well. Just stick that somewhere, get rid of that. And let's check that the lid doesn't have to be taken off. Nope. Oh, it smells a bit like glue. And what this does is it actually will seal what you're working on, and it's also sticky as well. This is obviously a new bottle, but so you can actually put that whole thing down and go right over the top of whatever it is you're working on with this binder medium. And it does what it says on the tin, it binds. I'm just working off my craft sheet here. Obviously you could put it into something like a little tub or something, but you know, the craft sheet's here, so that's what I'm working from. So I've got this rather glossy you know, he's a bit glossy now. He's got some texture. Just put a bit underneath his feet because that hasn't actually, the glue hasn't worked real well. And it gives it a coating, so you've got a, you know, a rather coated image there now, and it's also stuck down, so he's also got a bit of texture. I'll hold that down and see if you can see that he's got some texture on him. So if you want to go that way, that's one way that you can do your, you know, create your art. You can use this with canvas and stuff as well. That's actually why I bought it, for canvas and things like that. So, you know, and you can also mix it with water. You can thin it out, so you can put 2 parts water, it says here, to 1 part of the medium, and it'll seal different surfaces. So it's very good on canvas, but, you know, as I said, you can also use it on your tags. And I'm not going to use the words because I've already got create art down there, but I might put some metal stuff on there. So let's just check what metal I've got. So what I'm going to use, these are Tim Holtz spinners, and I thought I might put one of them down somewhere. That might be a cool sort of look. Maybe like a little arrow. I could put it down the side here. Let's see. I'm not sure that that's working for me, so that can go back in the box. Let's have a look what's in this one. What sort of little things? Oh look, I've got these little cog things. This is all Tim Holtz letters and numbers. I've already got the 13 on there, so I probably don't want another number or a word. Maybe this thing, that's cool, isn't it? I just feel like it needs something else, you know. Come on guys, help me out here. Help me. No. I just think that it needs, I don't want anything near his head. Maybe I'll put that down there. How does that look? Yeah, I quite like that. What do you think? Now I've got a little in here. I saw that little pin, and somewhere here, I know because I had it just before. Always losing things. Da-da-da, da-da. Oh, here it is. I've got this, which is one of the Tim Holtz little pin things. I'm just going to use that. I could get my pokey tool out or a needle, but I thought I'd just use that to poke a hole in the back of the tag. And then bend that over, and if you give it a tap, this is a bit out of control, isn't it? But if you give it a tap with a hammer, I do have a little hammer somewhere, but I've been putting together IKEA drawers today, so I've got the big hammer out. Yeah, I like that. It's quite cool, huh? Quite cool. And I could even put this on, but I'm not sure I want to. Look, I think that's enough. I quite like that. I'll get some ribbon or something and put around the top of the tag. But you know, he's a pretty cool dude, this dude. And there we have a tag using the dimensional medium. So I'll just show you that again. I use this Impasto medium, but anything that creates dementia will be fine. I use the binder medium. I'm not representing Holcroft or anything. This is just what I've bought. I've got a workshop coming up soon and I needed to buy some mediums, and this is just what I got from Riot. I've used the Tim Holtz, one of his lovely little people, and I've used that stencil to create the medium, and this is also Tim Holtz. And actually that's looking a bit white, that little create art. So I'm just going to grab the little tool again I'm just going to go over the top to make this a bit, it was just a bit too white for me. Yeah, I didn't like that it's so white on the card. I just wanted a bit duller. Oh, that's much better. Well, I think that's much better. And so there you go. There's a little tag, and happy crafting. See you next time.